She is a Grammy award-winning producer and engineer who's worked with artists like Cardi B, Janelle Monáe, Lin-Manuel Miranda, you name it.
That's the short list.
That's the short
There's
list.
a much longer list
That's
than
right.
that. Ebonie Smith discovered her love for music production as a student at Barnard College, and a few years later, she got her master's in music technology right here at NYU. She's now a senior producer and engineer for Atlantic Records. Ebonie, welcome.
Welcome. It's great to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
But wait, the list goes. The list goes
There's
on. You're the founder and president of Gender Amplified. This is an organization that celebrates and supports women and non-binary people in music production.
Yes.
Currently make up just 2.8%. Wow. Only make up 2.8%
yeah.
of producers in the music industry.
That's crazy.
Very low percentage.
Holy smokes. Well, thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
We just wanted to make sure we ran through your CV correctly.
Yes, I know. I mean, it's a
Thank
long
you.
list of accomplishments already. And you actually, I guess, Forbes 30 under 30, you were in that?
Well, I was nominated.
You were nominated?
I was not on that list, but I was very thankful to be nominated.
Of course. It's an honor just to be
It's just such an honor.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. So you discovered your love of music at what point in your life that you wanted to get this deeply entrenched into producing?
Well, I discovered a love for music production and music very early. So a child, I had a small piano at home that, my folks got me. But it wasn't until I was in college that I decided I wanted to be a music producer. That's when I discovered my love. And it actually came through a job that I had at school, a campus job. Working as an audio tech is where I started to really cut my teeth and learn that there was this technical side of music making that I knew nothing about. I often thought that you had to be a singer or an instrumentalist, which I was both of those things, but I didn't want to do that professionally. When I learned that you could combine math and science and gear and technology with music, I was sold. I was like, yeah.
When you first got into this mix, though, did you look around you and see the others that were, in this area, mainly males?
Yeah.
Did you find that awkward, or did you feel out of place?
Well, to be honest, yes and no. So my campus job, I went to Barnard College, so that job was all young ladies.
Yeah.
True.
And then across the
So,
street.
and so that was the thing that created the interest in trying to identify more women who made music at that level and use technology to make music, because I was surrounded by such smart and brave women, but I did not see that reflected necessarily in the music industry or on the charts, which I thought was a little bit peculiar. So Gender Amplified really started out as an academic inquiry. I was like, where are these women? Because I know they must be out there.
Yeah,
and
somewhere,
once I
right?
Can't find them.
curious,
They're-
I was like, they must be out there, so.
Well, then it makes complete sense that you took that sensibility
Yes.
and that observation of your surroundings to work with none other than just a few people. Cardi B's Invasion of Privacy, the Hamilton's original Broadway cast recording, Janelle Monáe's Dirty Computer. I mean, these are all people who are really changing our idea of what gender is, changing our understanding of what it means to be exactly who you are in one of the most competitive industries,
Absolutely.
which is music. So, first of all, how do you make that leap to working with all of these folks? And what was that like? How did you use that platform?
It was quite a journey because, I started off with the aspirations just like every young person, but the question is, how do you go about it, right? So, getting a master's degree from NYU was the first way, and so I learned how to network with young people who were just like me, who were just as eager and just as hungry, and we all started to make our way into the music business and kind of brought each other up, right? So I started working a number of odd jobs, and then I applied for a job at Atlantic Records in 2013, and I've been there ever since.
Now, you were talking about math and science, and it's really interesting. I was reading about how you dissect a song. You'll hear a song that's #1, it's somebody else's song. Take us through the steps of how you go about beats per minute and do all that dissection of a song.
Well, the interesting thing is it's really all math and science, especially at the level of using computers to make music, because these days you have young people that make music on their phones, they make music on computers, using numbers, various interesting numbers. Music tech is a very critical part of that. So when you're listening to music, you're not just hearing the whole composite piece together, all of the musical aspects. There's meter, there's rhythm, there's rhyme. When you're breaking down pitch, for example, pitch is broken down into frequency, which is
science,
right,
right,
exactly.
which is
So
physics. Yeah.
so there's a lot there. There's a lot of chemistry. There's a lot of physics. There's a lot of math. So I'm thankful that I had that training as a high
Indeed.
school student and especially as a college student.
You are so composed. You're beyond brilliant. Anyone who can break down pitch and
Very
all this stuff. I
smooth.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
I need. How do you deal with someone, a superstar like Cardi B, who I love, my fellow Bronxite, but she can look crazy?
The most important thing is to realize that everybody has the same experience every day. We all wake up. We all are concerned with getting from point A to point B. And the most important thing for me is service. When I go into the studio, no matter how big or how small my role is, if I'm just setting up a microphone or if I'm helming the whole production, the most important thing is to help the artist get from point A to point B.
Right.
Before we go, tell
my.
folks where they can learn about
Yes.
your organization, Gender Amplified.
Please visit us on all of the social media platforms. Obviously, we are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, and please visit our website at genderamplified.org.
Perfect.
Ebonie Smith, we expect even bigger. You've already accomplished so much in life, but I
I know.
feel much bigger things are still yet to come.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for
having
coming here
me.
this morning. Appreciate it.